a lot of research on the role that I was going to be interviewing for. And I had done a ton of research, reached out to other people, and kind of figured out that my job as an Air Force recruiter, and this is in my mind, so take this with a grain of salt here, was a lot harder than my job was going to be as a senior recruiter for a company of 75,000. That may sound crazy to you, but for me to advertise, source, qualify, and then actually, convince the individual to join the United States Air Force and then go into a special warfare community and then report those results to a commander was much more difficult than going to a company where I had 387 applications per requisition that I posted, and then just picking the one that I thought was great and then having them get hired. So I think for me, why I say all that though, is when I was ready to interview, I knew exactly what I was going to say when she asked me, how does your past experience relate to what you think you're going to be doing here at Salesforce? And I was able to basically break that down, at what a full life cycle recruiter was in the corporate sector and what it was in the military. And then I used, corporate verbiage to do that. And I think for me, that really set myself apart. And also, something that I think the military does in certain areas, but I would say not in very many, is the military, they teach you how to brag, but not in the corporate way. They teach you how to, bullet point your EPR or your OPR, right? And then, but in a corporate way, there's a really, I would say there's a nicer, more, soft way to present yourself as really confident, but also brag about yourself and tell them, hey, like, this is everything that I've done, and this means a lot. Because I think something that I had heard from many, many people when I told people in the military, hey, I'm going to Salesforce, is people looked at me like I was crazy, because I was just an E6 recruiter out of Idaho. They're like, there's no way you're going to work at that company that's a tech company in San Francisco. And I would confidently tell them, I would say, I can promise you that I will be at that company or another one. And I think just having that confidence in yourself and then presenting it in a non-military way is really important and will set yourself apart. Because if I came into that interview and basically be like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle this amount of requisitions and these candidates and all that, I could have easily came off that way. But I didn't. And I think part of it is I had researched enough to know that it was going to be a challenge, but I had also had a lot of tough challenges in my career already, and I was ready for it.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I want to foot stomp what you said about translating your military skills, because very often, that's the mistake that a lot of folks make, is that when they have a LinkedIn profile, when they have a resume, when they go in for interviews, they're talking in the context of their previous work experience, but without having translated their military titles, their skill sets to the job at hand. So not only do you have to convert all that speak into civilian speak, because it honestly doesn't make sense to civilian recruiters that don't have a military background at all, but you also have to relate it to the job at hand, like David was mentioning, and communicate your value to that organization in a way that makes sense to them. So great points there.